I want to go through this. Did you find this, Amelia?
Yes, but I sent it with Julie because I already showed Ashley.
Cool. So she has it. So up in the top left corner, it says, what is residual income? Have anyone had much experience with residual income or that term? Have you heard that before?
No.
Yeah. Okay. So this is key because this is exactly how I was when I first started. I had never heard about residual income. I didn't know what it was. I didn't even understand why you would want residual income. I grew up believing and knowing that the only way to make money is when you clock into a job and you start making money, and then you stop making money when you clock out. That's like the job, right? Every job. Now you could get better jobs that pay you more when you clock in, but you still stop earning money when you clock out, no matter what level you're in your job, whether you're the supervisor or you're like the hourly entry level employee. Residual income is money that you earn because you've built this organization and it pays you even when you're not working. So, for example, a couple of nights ago, went to bed because that's what I do, right? Woke up in the morning, checked my email, and someone had enrolled themselves on my website. Hey, Sarah. And I just made literally $45 while I slept. That's residual income. So I had done some work up ahead of time. Obviously, I had met with her before and shared with her about oils, but on her own accord, she went in, enrolled herself on my team, and I made money. That's part of it. The other part of it is on the 15th of every month, I get a check from doTERRA for what everyone in my organization has spent, a percentage of all of that. So if you want me to be really open about my income, I will be. I get a little self-conscious of it because I am not a big fan of the people that blast their income for everyone to see because they're hot shot in their like yoga pants. I'm not into that. doTERRA advocates make an incredible amount of money, and I'd love to be open with you so that you know what that looks like, but maybe we'll get to that if that's something you want to hear about later. But anyway, the fact that I can make significant money from people that are ordering all throughout the month that really I have no work being done outside of some like education, that's residual income. Anyway, let's move on. So how do you actually get residual income? Well, a lot of people start a franchise. They own their own business. So like, I'm going to start a McDonald's. I pay a franchise fee to have a McDonald's in my neighborhood. And at minimum, you're going to pay $250,000 to start up a new franchise. You're going to pay your employees. You're going to pay for customer service. You're going to pay for lawyers for in case someone sues you because you spill coffee on them. You're going to pay for equipment. You're going to pay for overhead. You're going to pay for all of this. And that's actually really well respected in our communities, is entrepreneurship and starting your own small business, right? That's like, if you know someone that starts your own small business, like that's pretty cool. Well, that's like exactly what you're doing with doTERRA, but there's no franchise fee. There's no startup fee. In fact, most people have considered the business within the first couple of weeks of getting their oils, but they think it's going to cost them money to upgrade. They think they're going to have to buy like a business kit. They think it's going to cost them a bunch of money because that's what we're taught, is that starting a small business costs a lot of money. And in small business, 8 out of 10 businesses fail within the first year and a half. So those are kind of scary numbers. And maybe you feel like, man, if I start this business, what if I fail? What if it doesn't actually work? Well, I'm telling you that network marketing is completely different. And I was so scared of that term, direct sales network marketing. The only network marketing company I'd ever heard of was Mary Kay. And I knew I didn't want to sell makeup. So, and I knew a couple people that were doing Mary Kay, and they weren't making any money really. The only ones that I knew that were making money in Mary Kay were the one lady in Watertown who drives a pink whatever, and she's been doing Mary Kay for 35 years. And I think that's kind of your mentality when you get into a business. The only way to make money is if you get in early, or if you're just this crazy salesperson that's constantly out in front of everyone, constantly begging your friends to host parties. It's just not like that. So why doTERRA? doTERRA is so different because of the way it's set up. None of you paid retail pricing for your oils. You enrolled for the same price that it would cost me to buy oils. And that's really, really important to me. Because if I'm going to reach out to my friends and my family and my neighbors and people at church, I'm going to feel weird if I'm like, hey, do you want to buy a citrus bliss for $18? And I know that it only cost me $15 to get it. That feels weird to me. So I make $3, and now the only way that I can make more money is if I sell another citrus bliss and I make $3 more. That's called carrying buckets. So there's this saying, there's this long story that I'm going to summarize in just a few minutes, but there was a man in a village, and he, for a living, carried buckets. So he lives up in the mountaintop in the village, and the water is down in the valley, right? So every morning, in order for him to make money, he wakes up, grabs his buckets, walks all the way down to the valley, fills them up, carries them all the way back up to the mountain, hands them to whoever wants water for the day, and he gets paid for that. So if he carries 2 buckets, he gets paid for 2 buckets. If he carries 4 buckets, he gets paid for 4 buckets. One day he's thinking, I want to make more money than just what I can carry in a day's time. I want to make residual income. So he's like, I'm going to build a pipeline. The water's down here. The village is up here. What if we had a pipeline that took this water that everybody wants, everybody needs it, and it just funneled itself on its own up to the village up here? So while he's building that pipeline, right, what is he still doing? Carrying buckets. The water still has to get to the village, and he still has to pay his bills every day. But the whole time he's carrying buckets, every night he builds a little bit more of the pipeline, and a little bit more of the pipeline, and a little bit more of the pipeline. Let's say it takes him 3 months, six months, a year to build the pipeline. All of a sudden, boom, that day that the pipeline is completely done and he is up at the village and he turns the spigot on the water, and now all of a sudden the water's coming to the village. He's getting paid for all that water, and he doesn't have to do anything to maintain it. It's built. That's the essence of doTERRA. That's why I'm working my butt off right now. And some people look at me and they think, why do you want to run across town to do a vendor show on a Wednesday night, and then come back and try to put your kids to bed, and then get online with some girls that want to learn about the business, and then tomorrow wake up and meet with another lady? And then, like, I don't want to live like that. And I'm thinking, okay, well, check with me in 5 years when my pipeline's built. And then you're going to want to live the way that I'm living, when all of a sudden my husband's not going to be working retail anymore. He's going to be working whatever the heck he wants, because my income has not only replaced my income at my chiropractic office where I no longer work, but it's literally going to replace the income for our entire family. And that's what I'm building right now. So that was a dream for me. And growing up, this is like crazy talk. No one in my family owns their own business. No one's an entrepreneur. So this seems crazy, but I fell in love with the oils just like you did. So I started sharing. Like, I couldn't hear someone that was like depressed or sick and not be like, hey, you should try this. I just couldn't do it. Like, even tonight at the vendor show, guy walked up, he has migraines all day long, every day. There's never any relief. I literally put the deep blue rub in his hand. He wouldn't put it on his temples because he knows that things can just trigger it and make it worse. So all he did was he did this. And then all of a sudden I saw him go. And he was like, this smells amazing. And then he started rubbing it on his head. And I'm like, this man is going to go home tonight without a migraine for probably the first time in his life. Like, I don't even have to be paid to do that. Like, that is so exhilarating to me, thinking about, and this guy has access to all the drugs in the world for migraines. Like, there's no way that he's not, like, but essential oils are going to be the answer for him. And I just thought, you could pay me $1 and I would do that. But if you want to pay me more, then that would be really cool too. And that's really been the opportunity with doTERRA. So typical direct sales companies, 1 out of 10% is the retention rate. Do you know what doTERRA's is? No one knows? No one wants to guess? You're all like, this lady's crazy. What just happened? 65 to 75%. So my retention rate right now is 60, like I can actually see it in my back office, it's 65 point something percent. That means out of 500 users that I have on my team, 500 customers, 65% of them order at least every 3 months. And some of them order every single month, like you guys on the loyalty rewards program. That's pretty amazing, you guys. That means that can you imagine having 10% retention? How many new people you'd have to be finding all the time to keep your income at the same level? doTERRA's is amazing. Why do you think that is? How many people do you know that enroll in a direct selling company just because they want the discount, but they're like supposed to be doing the business, but they're really just ordering for themselves? It gets so messy and the retention is so bad. In doTERRA, you just enroll as a wholesale customer, and I've got all these people, like 90% of my team, that just want to use the oils, and that's all they do. And they become oil obsessed and they order. I just saw what you guys ordered all this month. You're just this tiny reflection of my entire team. They become oil obsessed. I just educate them and they just do their ordering and boom, it's amazing. So there's 5 ways that doTERRA pays wellness advocates. Do you know what they all are? I bet you know at least one of them, right? Julie has the cheat sheet.
I know.
The first way is retail. So when you become a wellness advocate, doTERRA creates for free your own retail site. And retail customers can order products from you at any time. They'll go to your site, I believe it's my.doterra.com/your name. So I would double check it, because if there is another Sarah Taylor in the world, which I think there is in the doTERRA world, then that might not be it. But anyway, you can find this information on your back office, and I can show you that if it's really important to you. But I've only ever sold retail 3 times in 3 years. And it's because people were just like so scared of this wholesale account, and I probably just didn't explain it very well. It's not really recommended as a long-term strategy. Why do you think? Any idea? What if you came to my class and I sold you Citrus Bliss for $18? And then next week, Sarah invites you to her class and she's like, oh no, you can just enroll. It's only 15. And you're like, Melissa just sold it to me for 18. That seems weird. And people will eventually find out that they can have a wholesale account for free by getting a starter kit. And they don't like that. People don't like to be sold something when they could have gotten it at a cheaper price. We all want it at the cheaper price, everything, everywhere. So I don't like selling retail, because unless that's absolutely their choice, because I think that wholesale makes the most sense. The other thing is, I thought you'd maybe say this because my bucket story was so awesome, but retail is selling buckets, or is carrying buckets. Do you see that analogy a little bit? Like if I was selling retail, the only way that I could make money is just by selling you this oil. And then when it runs out, you have to order more oil. So now I have to meet up with you, you order, you pay me. It could be done through my site, but realize there's no residual income there. The best way to make money in doTERRA is the next 2 options: Fast Start and Power of 3. Fast Start is paid out every week on every order that happens on your team for a new enrollee in the first 60 days. So when I enrolled Amelia, I made 20% off of everything she spent in the first 60 days. She bought a lot of stuff.
I got real excited.
And I wasn't disappointed. And then she got on the loyalty rewards program the next month and she bought more stuff. And I made another 20% off of that order. And then I think I even caught a 3rd order from her because she ordered them so close together. And I made another 20% on her 3rd order. And that all happened in the first 60 days. She ordered 3 times. So I made 20% off of that order, 20%, 20%. The person who enrolled me is Kristen. She earned 10% every time Amelia ordered in the first 60 days. And the person that enrolled Kristen, her name is Callie Kenny. She lives in Alabama. She made 5% off of every single time that Amelia ordered. So Amelia is doing that now with her enrollees. Amelia is making 20% off of everything that Ashley orders for the first 60 days. So who's making the 10%?
You.
Me, right. Who's making the 5%?
Kristen.
Kristen, yep. So now, let's say Julie enrolls someone tomorrow. What does Julie make?
20%.
I'm sorry?
20%.
20%. And who makes the 10%? And who makes the 5%? So how invested am I in Julie knowing how to do the business? Pretty invested. Like I'm making Fast Start every single time she enrolls someone. That's the same for Ashley. Now, here is the difference. So Sarah, let's say Sarah enrolls somebody, trick question. What percentage does Sarah make? 20%. Who makes the 10%? Ooh, you're right. Why does Dawn make 10%? Because what? Dawn enrolled Sarah. So then who makes the 5%?
You.
Yes, because I enrolled Dawn. Do you see how the enrollment is a really important thing? And that's how you make the majority of your money up front. Fast Start. So it's 20% of the PV. It's not 20% of the dollar amount. So the Family Essentials Kit is $150, but it's 110 PV. You've probably seen that. So if Julie enrolls someone with the Family Essentials Kit, how much does she make? You didn't know you were going to math class tonight, did you?
No.
$22. Every time she enrolls a Family Essentials, she makes $22. Every time she sells a Home Essentials, she makes $45. That's half of the order right there that she's required to make as a wellness advocate. So one enrollment of a Home Essentials kit every month would pay for over half of your oil order every single month. Because y'all know that it's what's required to do doTERRA as a business. There's only one thing that's required. 100 PV order every single month. It is the easiest thing you will do in your business. It's not tough. I promise. Now, initially I felt like, man, this is kind of a stretch for me. I don't really feel like I have $100 to spend on oils. I'm excited to, and it really helped me build my like obsession. But I was like, I got to find 2 people this month that want to get oils. Like I have to share with at least 2 people and get them going. And if I got 2 people that bought the Home Essentials kit, boom, my whole order was paid for just like that. And that's really your goal initially, right? Is just to cover your oil habit, build your collection. So Fast Start is going to make that happen really quickly. Now, Amelia is like a killer sharer. So like every person she talks to, she's like, you need oils. And in fact, let me give you this sample so that you can see why you need oils. And then she invites them to classes, and then I come and teach them, and then boom, the whole place enrolls. And we're like, wasn't expecting that. That pharmacy tech, I didn't think I was going to get. Look at us. And honestly, the oils just speak for themselves. They're a whole new concept that people have never even considered. And when they smell them, when that breathe opens up their airways, and you had already had a sample before, Ashley, right? Before that class. Oh, you had never had a sample before? Oh, you're a rare girl. Most people don't enroll on the first time when they've never had a sample like that. So that I just taught a really good class then or something.
You did. Yeah.
Amelia has shared really, really well. She's given people oil experiences. So then when they get to a class, it's like a no-brainer, because once they understand that they can get wholesale pricing and then they can even get the enrollment fee waived with a kit, it's like, what's $150 if I could start sleeping better, or my son could start breathing better, or we wouldn't have allergies in our house or whatever. So does Fast Start make sense how you get paid for enrolling? So doTERRA pays you to enroll people, and that just has to be the focus of your business really forever, is meeting new people, sharing with them so that they can get results with oils. And it's a beautiful thing, you guys. Like that is the most rewarding part, is watching those people get their first kit and have that first oil experience. Like watching him put that deep blue rub on him tonight was just like, I've been doing this for 3 years, and it was still like, oh, you just had an oil experience and you had no idea what was happening. You were literally like, what is this? It was awesome. So that's Fast Start. But you know what's interesting? That feels like quite a bit of money initially. That's actually the smallest part of my check now, is Fast Start. I'll show you what my biggest part is here in a minute. Power of 3 is the next way to be paid. So doTERRA pays you Fast Start for enrolling people. So that should be your focus. When you're like, what do I do for my business? It should be a focus on enrolling people, helping them get their wholesale account. The other way that doTERRA pays you is based on how you structure your team, where you place people. That's called Power of Three. And that's why I'm so important. If I can be bold enough to say that, I have made so many mistakes in my business because Kristen and I had no idea what we were doing early on. We had no training from our upline on placements. We're just like, y'all need oils, I'm enrolling you. And they just all got stacked like this across our front line. And I didn't understand this concept. Amelia started building literally last month, the last 3 days of last month. So I really consider her this month. In 1 month, she's already getting her first level Power of Three. That took me 6 months plus to do that because I had no idea what I was doing. I told my mom, I was like, I'll bet you money she's making her $250 Power of Three by the end of the year. I bet you will be. I bet you will be, because we're structuring very strategically and you're sharing and you're educating super well. So Power of Three, let me show you what that looks like here. I'm going to share my screen. Can you all see what I'm looking at here? Oops.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Right here.
Wait a minute. Oh, you're back.
Is this big enough? Can you see this? So this is you. You're placing a 100 PV order every single month. And you share with Susan, and Susan gets a starter kit. And then the next month she starts her loyalty rewards order and she orders 100 PV. And then you share with Bill and he does the same thing. And you share with Emily and she does the same thing. And you have 3 people that are ordering at least 100 PV right underneath you. And doTERRA will automatically send you a $50 check in the mail. Now, the catch is all of you together, you plus your 3 people, all need to spend 600 PV. But typically that happens because not many people spend 100 PV. And look at Amelia. She went psycho this month and spent 400 and whatever. I'm just giving you a hard time tonight. But so that counted towards that. That was 400. And let's say this was another 100. That's 500. Another one, that's 600. So let's say that was 700 team volume. So they're going to send her on the 15th of November a $50 check for doing that in October. Now she's at the next level already. She has this established. Now this is something you have to like make sure happens every single month. Every single month that this is in place, you get a $50 check. So and that's why I said, I don't want you to put anybody else on your top level, Amelia. I want you to start sponsoring below somebody. So now here's Ashley. Ashley's ordering 100 PV last month, this month, hopefully next month. And we've already started placing people below them. So those 3 people, Ashley, that came to that class, if they get on the loyalty rewards program next month and they ordered just like you did, 100 PV, 100 PV, 100 PV, then you're going to get your $50 bonus. And that's half of your oils. So back up, let's say we enrolled someone with a home essentials and we've had 3 people below us with a $50 Power of Three. That's $100 right there. Do you see how fast you could be paying for your oils? Like literally within a few weeks of doing doTERRA as a business. So a lot of people are so nervous to start the business because of the 100 PV. And I'm like, oh, you just have to actually do the business and you will be fine. Within weeks, you can be paying for your oils. So here's Julie. That's why we've got you on here, girlfriend. We want you to start ordering 100 PV. But you have to if you want to do the business. And that's totally up to you. And there'd never be any pressure for you to do that or not. But if you choose to do that, then Amelia is going to want to start placing her enrollments underneath you.
I have 3 waiting to be moved.
They're waiting for you, for your decision. So let's say you're like, yeah, I want to do this. She's going to place a few people from a class we just taught underneath you. And if they order 100 PV next month or any month in the future and you have that, you'll earn your 50. And here's Sarah. Is Sarah going to earn hers this month, Mom?
She's muted. Your mom is muted.
Muted. I don't know. I'd have to look at it. Sarah, do you know?
She has 2 qualifiers. She needs 1 more.
Okay, see, look how fast this happened. So she has 2 people that have already ordered 100 PV. So we need 1 more person under her to order 100 PV, and then Sarah will get her 50. So isn't this so cool? So if I'm doing my business really well, the only way for me to make money is to make sure that my leaders are doing really well. And I have to spread the wealth. So if Amelia does that, which I think she will by the end of the year, at least, maybe sooner, she's going to start earning a $250 bonus every single month that structure is in place. And then her next goal will be to take the 3 people or more. I mean, obviously there's going to be more than just 3 people under you, and then help them set up their 3 people. Doesn't this 1,500 look crazy? Like that can't possibly ever happen. Was I the only one that thought that when I first saw this bonus? Amelia's like, yeah, I'll do it. January. When I saw this structure, I was like, that's never going to happen. I'm never going to find people that want to order at 100 PV. Well, it does happen. I promise you. I've been earning this $1,500 bonus since March. Every single month since March, a check has been cut for $1,500. For having that structure in place. What would you do with $1,500 a month?
Student loans.
Boom! Mine are gone.
I have those now, which I never had before.
Mine are gone now. So what would you do after you paid off your school loans with that?
More bills. They never stop.
They never stop. All right, but what happens when you're like caught up on all of them?
You buy more oil.
Yeah. Okay, now we're talking. I just realized that this $1,500 would significantly impact my family. And I was like, albeit I'm going to make this happen. And now I am. My mom is actually getting really close to this $1,500. How would she get $1,500? What would she have to do? That's kind of a weird question. She needs to have 3 leaders that are making their $250 bonus. So as soon as Amelia makes her $250 bonus, and Christina makes her $250 bonus, and Robin makes her $250 bonus, she gets $1,500. Does that make sense, or is it a little bit confusing?
No, makes sense.
You're all good? Okay, so this is a really fun way to be paid by doTERRA. That's power of 3. The 4th way to be paid by doTERRA is kind of complicated. I'll just be honest. But it will be the biggest part of your check eventually. It's called unilevel, and it's a percentage of every single order in your organization that happens each month. So remember we were talking about those levels, how we were placing people accordingly? Oh, wow, what is this? Here's the unilevel organizational bonus. So when you first start out as a wellness advocate, you're just considered a consultant. You don't have any legs or any builders below you. But anyone that has their first level, so this is Sarah, this is Ashley, anybody on your first level, you're making 2% off of everything they order. Remember that fast start was 20%, 10%, 5%. That was the first 60 days. So didn't you wonder what happened at day 61? Now they jump to this. Now you make 2% off of everything they order for the rest of time. As long as they're continuing to order, you make 2%. Don't you think like that's like no money at all? What's 2% of $100? $2. So $2. So if Sarah has 6 people on her front line and they all order 100 PV, she makes $12. You're like, Melissa, how can this be the highest paid bonus, right? Well, that's a consultant. So as soon as I have sold 500 PV in 1 month on my tree, now all of a sudden I can earn on 2 levels. So Amelia, what was your volume right now? Do you know?
That's a good question. I have no idea.
It's 3,000 something, right?
Yeah. Wow, that's a good
382.
point.
Where am I? So she's at 3,000. Oh, come on. Let's take it so long. So she, this month, has sold 3,000 OV. Her and everyone below her is considered this OV, organizational volume is what it stands for. So now she can earn 2% on her first level. That's Sarah and Ashley and Julie. But she can start earning 3% on, I don't know, who is it? Becca and all the people under Sarah. The next level is 5%, 5%, 6%. This eventually will be the biggest part of your check. And notice that as you go across, these are the ranks. So my mom just hit silver this month. So nothing more than 100 PV is ever required to do this business. It does, even when you get all the way up here, you're still only ever required to order 100 PV. So my mom ordered at least 100 PV this month. She has to have 3 qualified legs, meaning she personally enrolled 3 people that hit elite this month. So one of them is Robin, one of them is Christina, and then as soon as I send an email, it'll be Amelia. So she has 3 legs that hit elite. Remember, because Amelia's got 3,000. Y'all tracking with me a little bit? I know this gets intense. It's okay. So my mom can actually earn on all 7 levels of her organization this month. So I'm going to hit gold this month. So here is my requirement, 100 PV. I have to have 3 legs of 3 people that I enroll, that I have the enrollment for, that hit premier. So that means those people have to have 5,000 OV below them with 2 enrollments that hit executive. I know, it's intense. So when you get into these categories, silver, gold, there's one more way to be paid by doTERRA, and that's these performance pools. So let's jump all the way back. We have a retail site. We can be paid 25% off of anything that someone purchases on our retail site. We have Fast Start. doTERRA pays you to enroll people to help them get wholesale accounts. You make 20% off of everybody that you enroll. Power of 3, that's being paid based on how you structure your team. That's why I'm going to help you. Unilevel, we talked about that. And then finally, the 5th way to be paid is leadership bonus pools. So doTERRA takes all of the profit that they make in a month, and they give me 2% of 1 share as a silver. When I hit gold, my check gets a little bit bigger because now I get 2% of 5 shares. Kristen is a platinum, so every month she gets 2% of 10 shares of profit. I know that means nothing to you. For a gold, that's about $800. For a platinum, it's about $1,500. So think about that. Kristen's getting her $1,500 power of 3, and she's getting a $1,500 performance pool bonus. She's getting this percentage on over 1,000 people ordering on her team. And she's earning Fast Start for everyone that she enrolls, everyone that I enroll, and everyone that my frontline leaders enroll. So let me just show you some average commissions here. So this is average monthly income. Do you think, Amelia, you made between $300 and $800?
Not yet, but I think the next check I'll get in the mail, it'll put me over that 300.
Yep. And then you'll, you'll get your Power of 3 bonus, that $50 bonus on November 15th. That gets paid for October. So you'd add that in there too. When I have gone through these ranks, it is amazing how accurate these numbers are. So remember I was asking you if you would, how you would spend $1,500, and you're like, you spent it in like 13 seconds, I think. You spent that money pretty fast. So what if you were making an extra $3,000 a month? Do you know how you'd spend it?
I would pay my bills. I would try to be debt-free before I'm 30.
Wow, that's huge. So if you were making $6,000 a month, do you think that you'd bust through your debt very fast?
Oh my word, yes. And then I think I wouldn't tell my husband, because then he'd think he'd need more toys for outside.
So what if you were making $12,000 a month? So by now you're managing your bills, I would hope. My goodness, I guess I don't know what you're buying each month, but I would think your bills are covered, right? I mean, it wouldn't take you very many months and you'd have your school loans paid off.
Right, that would be super nice.
I mean, honestly, if you're putting $12,000 on your house, that's honestly not going to take very long to just take care of that either.
That would be great.
So then now what?
Well, I know what'll happen is that my husband will go to part-time, and then he'll think he needs to start farming.
When I started running those numbers in my mind, all of a sudden I'm like, well, I think I'd send my mom and my dad on a trip over to Europe, over to the Bible land, because that's where they always wanted to go. And I was like, and honestly, like my cousin John he does full-term missions work, and he's like spends like 6 months out of his year just trying to raise a few $1,000s so he can like do work on campus. I was like, I think I'd just write him a check for the whole year and just be like, there, your fundraising is done. Go tell people about Jesus. And all of a sudden, like when I was looking at $1,500 a month and $3,000 a month and $6,000 a month, I was like so focused inward. I was like, take care of myself, get rid of my debt. Like that's just natural, right? Pay off my house. And then all of a sudden you start looking at this money, and all of a sudden I'm like, oh, all of a sudden I'm thinking about everybody else. And so sometimes we get into this business and we look at this money, and the way I grew up, this could be like, this feels wrong for some reason to make that kind of money, doesn't it? And I realized that money is the first time that I've ever actually thought about anybody else when it comes to my paycheck. And so I just wanted to leave that with you, just to kind of like just work through in your own mind. Like money isn't evil. It's the love of money that is the root of all evil. And we can actually do really amazing things in this world if we aren't living paycheck to paycheck. So that's really the vision that doTERRA has given me. And I don't care if your goal is just to make $100 a month so that you can have the oils in your house that you want. If that's all you want to do, then that's awesome. That's awesome. I don't care. But if you want to do something bigger than that, I just want you to know that I'm trying to share this here. I just want you to know that I'm going to help you do it. Help you get to whatever level you want to. My mom, I laugh at her all the time. She never in her life thought she was going to be silver. And she is. Boom, she did it. 2 years, done. And she could have done it faster if we would have known a few things about placements. Kind of exciting, isn't it? You want to see my tree?
Yeah, it's huge.
It's huge. Worked my butt off for that. But here's the deal. I don't know very many people, honestly. And I hear that from a lot of people. They're like, I don't know enough people. I am an introvert, y'all. I know you don't think that because I'm outgoing, but I'm an introvert. I would much rather be at my house all day doing my thing. Like going out to a vendor show tonight, like, I feel like I'm pulling my skin off, be out there. when I get out there, like to talk to someone, I'm not scared to do that, but I don't like, I would just rather be to myself. So like when I go to Target and the lady's like, how are you today? I'm like, fine. Did you find everything? Yep. Like that's introvert. That's not someone that's extroverted. Extrovert is like, I'm awesome. How are you? I did. In fact, that shirt looks so good on you. That's an extrovert. So I don't care if you're an introvert or an extrovert, you don't know anyone. I promise you can do this business. And the beautiful thing about this business is it requires you to build relationships. And honestly, that's what God made us to do, is be in relationship with one another, to disciple each other. Like I would have never met Amelia if I wasn't doing doTERRA. I would have never met you. And you're the sweetest person I've ever met. You're going to be an amazing mom. And I love that Sarah was like, hey, I've got a sister-in-law and she wants to get oils like now. I'm so thankful that we met you. And now to have Sarah doing the business under you, like, oh, I just can't explain to you how exciting that is, and like how like confirming it is from like God to just show us like, trust me, it'll be in my time and it's going to be perfect every single time. Sarah didn't do the business with us initially because Amelia hadn't done it yet. And now you guys get to do it together. Like, that's so cool. We would have had Sarah on a completely different leg and tree, and we'd never have been able to move her. You guys would be working together if it would have been on our timing. So just know that if God puts a dream in your heart, he will provide the way to make it happen. And I think that he's blessed my business because he knows that when I see those dollars, I dream about other people. And I think he wants to honor that. So here's my tree. It's pretty, isn't it? So you can see my front line. That's all these. So I've got 1 level, 2 levels, 3 levels, 4 levels, 5 levels, 6 levels. So I'm actually only have 6 levels in my organization. So here's my mom. So see that OV up there, 1361? That means that 13,000 PV was ordered on her tree this month. She personally spent 225 PV, but 13,000. So here's her leaders: Robin, Christina. Ooh, we'll jump over that disaster there. I'm just kidding. Not everything works out perfectly in this business, but you learn a lot. And Amelia, there she is. So she has 3 leaders that have 3,000 OV, and she, as soon as I send an email, she will be silver. Cool, huh? So here's your little team. Here's Ashley. See, look at this, Ashley. You're already at 453 OV. At 500 OV, you hit the first rank in doTERRA. So you're like literally going to rank advance is what we call it this month. That's pretty awesome. And you haven't even really committed to the business yet, I would say, on some level. So here's Sarah. Look at her whopping team over here. So
that's amazing.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Do you know how long it took me to have a team to look like that?
Yeah.
I just can't explain it to you. So she's at 1,100 OV. Now, here's the deal. What happens on November 1 to all this OV?
Does it start over?
0. Yeah. So on November 1st, I'm back to the same rank that Ashley's at. And if I haven't educated my customers, if they're not in love with their products, if I'm not teaching continuing ed, if I'm not enrolling new people, then I won't creep up to that. I won't hit my rank. So you can't just sit and do nothing in this business. But do you know what? I hit Premier by like the 10th of the month. So I went from 0 OV to over 5,000 in 10 days. And now, did you see what my volume was? Biggest it's ever been. So I have 474 people on my team. I'm going to do a giveaway at 500. Kristen all thinks she's so cool at 1,000. I'm going to give away like 3 Melissas or something. So here's my OV, 36,712. Do you ever think in my life that I thought I would sell $36,000 worth of oils in a month?
No.
No. I didn't even know what essential oils were 3 years ago.
I didn't 2 weeks ago.
How cool is that, you guys? All right, what are your questions? I know you probably have a million, but what do you feel like would hold you back from getting started right now? Here, let me say one more thing before you answer questions. doTERRA's compensation plan is incredibly different from any other company that you've ever seen. I promise you. In fact, if you've ever been a part of another direct selling company, I think you should get out the compensation plans and compare that unilevel. Almost every single company I've ever looked at, the top level is where you make the most money. That's where the 7% is at. Typically on most direct selling companies, 7% on that top level and 2% on the bottom. So think about that. If I made the most off of everyone on my front line, where would I place the people that I enroll? On my top line. But that's not how doTERRA works. I actually make the most on my bottom level. So where am I actually most motivated to place the people that I enroll?
Under people.
Under Ashley. I look for the deepest, me. I look for the people that are deepest in my organization and the most active builders that I know will help me support these people. And that's where I place my enrollments. And that is why doTERRA is the #1 essential oil company in the world. It's the top 10 on the Forbes list for the best places to work. And it is becoming the largest direct selling company in the world. So Amway, Mary Kay, we're blowing those companies out of the water. Did you know that our growth is the exact same growth as Apple? So when you line up the growth of Apple in the first 7 years, 8 years, 9 years of its business, it literally goes like this, right? Because they're just out of the water. That's exactly what doTERRA's looks like. It's amazing. It's an amazing company. Okay.
We lose Julie?
I don't know what happened to Julie.
I'm still here.
Oh,
It's black. Are you sitting in the dark?
No, I'm still here.
All right, cool. Do you have any questions? We've kind of talked a long time, but hopefully I've given you kind of an idea of what you're getting into.
well.
Do you have a question?
No, I feel like you answered everything. I didn't come in with questions. I was very overwhelmed with it.
Are you
But
more
you did a really
overwhelmed?
Well, my thing is I need to learn about the oils to figure out how to tell people about them.
The only oils you really need to know about are the ones in the Family Essentials kit, which is the same oils as the Home Essentials kit, and the ones in the Aroma Touch Diffuse kit. Really, to be honest. Because the people that you're meeting with, what do you want them to do?
Get a kit.
Darn right. That's the best deal. They can order patchouli and ylang ylang. Those are all good oils too. But the kit are the oils that they're going to keep coming back to, and they're the easiest ones to use. They're the most universal oils. I can use peppermint for digestion and breathing and focus and energy. And I can use eucalyptus for those things too. Well, no, not really. I can use eucalyptus for breathing. You know what I mean? Peppermint is so universal. Lavender, so universal. Bites and burns and sleep. And honestly, here's what I did wrong initially. This is the biggest thing I did wrong in the business. Are you ready for it? I taught classes with PowerPoints. So I created this big old PowerPoint and I stood up in front of a group because this is what I do really well. It doesn't scare me. And I create this hour and a half class and I taught them everything I knew about essential oils, and I knew a lot. And then they're like, I could never do what you do. Do you know how many times I've heard that in my business? And at first you're like, yeah, I know a lot. It's cool. And then all of a sudden I'm like, wait, so you don't want to do the business? Oh no, I could never do what you do. And I'm like, well, crap. How am I going to get people to do the business with me when I'm like teaching them all this stuff and they're like, I could never do what you do. So do you know what I do now? You saw me. I hold paper while I teach a class. Do you think I need this thing to teach a class? I know I could literally have it behind my back with my eyes closed to teach that class. But if I sit in front of that class and Ashley's like, whoa, I could never do what she does. Weren't you like, dude, she just literally read off a paper and then all of these people enrolled? Like, I can do that. I hope that's what you thought. That's what I'm working on. So just know that you don't actually have to know everything, because if you knew everything, you'll overwhelm them and they're going to think, I could never use these oils. I don't know that much. So that's a limiting belief I had initially, that if I knew a lot, I would actually help more people and I'd get more sales. And it actually harmed me because all my knowledge overwhelmed people. I was teaching people about sesquiterpenes and crossing the blood-brain barrier and healing all. And people were just like, so where do I put it? I mean, that's all they want to know is, so where do I put it? Like, what oil and where do I put it? So anyway, I hope that encourages you. You really, I promise, don't need to know everything. But you should know how the top 10 oils work and what they're best for. So I would start there.
And the kit does say what they're best. Like on the lid, I don't have my box anymore, but I think when you open the lid, it literally says.
Yeah. And when I meet with people, I'm like, I don't know what's good for that. Let me look it up. I mean, I don't have plantar fasciitis. Why would I know what oils are good for that? Like, I'm not an encyclopedia. I happen to have one though. Let's look it up. PLA. And then I'm like, oh, frankincense, that makes so much sense. I know that frankincense is anti-inflammatory because I've memorized the top 10 oils and what they do, but I'm not have just only memorized it. I'm living it in my house all day long. I'm using my oils. So if you just say, I'm going to commit to using every single one of these oils this week. I'm going to use every single one. I'm going to find a way to do it. And I don't know if it's going to be the right thing, but I'm going to do it. And I bet you will. So I had a lady that coaches us. I'll give you some of her videos at some point here because she's amazing. But she said, I found out that I had no idea what Slim and Sassy was. Y'all know we have an oil called Slim and Sassy. She's like, I didn't know how to use it. So she literally put it in her pocket. She goes, I'm going to use this oil all day long today. Anything that comes up, I'm going to use it. She's like, I got a headache. I started putting Slim and Sassy on. She's like, it worked. My headache went away. And then she's like, well, of course it did. It has peppermint in it. And then she's like, then my stomach was hurting earlier or later. And I rubbed some on my stomach and my stomach pain went away. She's like, well, that makes sense because there's ginger in there and cinnamon and those are good for the digestion. Like literally all day long. She goes, the next class I taught and someone said, what's Slim and Sassy? And she goes, oh, it's amazing for headaches and digestion and energy. And she was like, I didn't know anything about that oil, but I just committed to using it. And now all of a sudden she had like 30 reasons why someone needed Slim and Sassy. She goes, everyone at my class wanted it. And she goes, the day before, I couldn't have even told you what it was for. So just know that you can figure out how to use an oil and how to help people just by literally using them on yourself. And you're not going to hurt yourself. So there you go. Don't y'all want Slim and Sassy now? The gum is amazing. That was a really good question. You didn't even know you had it.
I really don't think I have any more.
What do you feel like your husband's questions are?
I could have killed him yesterday.
What did he say?
Well, so I called him and I was like, hey, I'm so sorry that I didn't even think about like, hey, you could be done working early so you could take Jace instead of your mom overnight. And he goes, yeah, you never think about me, even making a business decision. And I'm like,
oh, wow.
I talked to you about it and you said, I don't care.
Yeah.
And I said, so do you care? Like, what's up? He goes, no, I don't care. And I'm like, oh, so he has none. But he did make me put the deep blue on him this morning.
Yeah, see? Actually, at the business training yesterday, a husband shared that he said when my wife first started with the oils, and number one, I hated the oils because I thought they were phooey. And number two, I hated the business because all I ever saw of it was my wife gone all the time. And I would get home from a long day of work and she was like, oh, see ya, I got something to do. And then all of a sudden it was me and the kids. So I think that's honestly a really sweet reflection that he's already kind of bringing those to your awareness, because I was so unaware of that initially. I was like, I'm building a business here so you don't have to work retail for the rest of your life. And it was like, well, that's awesome, but I'm sitting with my kids 5 nights a week and like I'm still working retail. So just like continually like giving him things that he can like watch or read. And honestly, initially I only shared the good stuff. Like every time I got a paycheck, I opened it up and laid it on the table, and I didn't cash it till I knew he saw it, because I wanted him to know that we were making money. And then when he was like, should we go out to eat tonight? I was like, yeah, actually I got paid for a class that I did. We do have some money to do that. Like I just was always telling him when we were making money, and so then it got to the point where he was like, I haven't seen one of those checks in the mail. And I was like, I should go teach a class, don't you think? And it was like, it was kind of joking. I feel like we have sounds like we have about the same relationship as you and your hubby, where you can kind of joke, but being a little sensitive to the fact that what he will see initially is you gone more often, and he's not going to see the big bucks overnight, you know?
Yeah, he was like, well, you were doing your thing on Sunday, and you're going on Tuesday, and you're going on Wednesday. And I'm like, Jordan, I'm just starting to figure it out. Like,
yeah. And so maybe finding like now we have specific time where we don't do doTERRA. Like I'm really careful of my Sundays now because he doesn't want me doing doTERRA on Sundays. And I've just finally gotten to a place where I really respect that. And that's what we do, you know, where you're just like, there are still boundaries in my life, even though I'm really, really excited about this business. And I know that it has huge, huge potential. I still have boundaries that I'm not going to cross because I've got 2 kids and I've got a husband, and I'm a Christian believer, and I have to have space to be in my Bible and worshiping him. And I'm a part of my church, and I have friends that deserve to see me occasionally and not talk about doTERRA. Like they don't want to hear about it every time I show up. So just like some of them do, and those are my favorites to hang out with, that just want to talk oils the whole time. But anyway, you understand what I'm saying? I just feel like that was really, really good insight that you're already seeing that a little bit. What about you, Julie?
My biggest thing is like you said, running out of friends. Like after you get the first, you know, the first party or two, and then just getting people to like them or use them or keep buying them, because I'm kind of where Ashley is, where I haven't really figured them out yet. I just got my kit. And I've definitely seen some good things with them. Yeah. But I just don't feel like I'm there yet.
Yeah, and Amelia will be so awesome for you because she has really figured out how to like share out in every circle that she's in. So I'm excited for her to teach you that. But that was something that I really had to learn. It just took me a really long time to just identify people's needs and say, are you open to a natural solution for that? And just sharing with anybody that will listen. And the thing is, of those 500 people, I've probably only enrolled a couple hundred of them. And this is 3 years. Those are people that a lot of them have been placed on my team from my upline, because Kristen doesn't keep anybody on her front line. She places under her builders. And now Amelia just enrolled like 15 people. That added to my team. I didn't personally enroll them. I don't know them. So it's really important that you have a relationship with your upline, and she sees you as someone that's going to help her do this business, that you're going to be sharing and educating, because she's going to be really motivated then to place people on your team. I've got probably 20 people underneath me doing the business, but there's about 6 of them that I love to place under, because I know that if I place someone there, they're going to reach out to them. They're going to tell them about the BOGOs. They're going to invite them to classes. And the other one's like, I have to say, did you do that? And that's just not as much fun. So if you can be that leader for Amelia, she's going to be really motivated to place on your team. And that's that turns out to be really like motivating to me. I want Kristen to be like, and she says this to me, she's like, oh, I'd love to place this person on your team because I know you'd take care of them. And I'm like, yes. well, you should do that, Kristen. Like I want her to support me in that way, but you're also going to be sharing with people about the business. And I think if I didn't have so many stinking reservations about the business initially, I would have moved so much faster, but I was so scared to talk to people about doTERRA as a business. Amelia's not scared. I don't know why. So she can teach that the rest of this, but I don't know.
I could add just one thing. Your upline too, when she begins to help you do classes, she will help you book classes from classes. Sarah's done one class with me, and we booked a class from that class, and Sarah's done one-on-one with me, and we booked a class from that one-on-one. So and we offered them a gift for booking. I mean, it was just like a rollerball blend or a keychain, and that was just for booking. But yeah, they're like, yeah, I'll do that for Sarah.
Okay. The other thing that I would do is I'd really focus on the word class. People are really scared to come to a party because then they know they're going to have to flip through a magazine and order something. But a lot of people want to learn more. I'm just curious, would you be interested in learning more about essential oils? I'm having a class that's free. You could come and learn. And then they get there and they experience oils, and then they're just an Ashley and they're like, I'll take the biggest kit you've got. I mean, it doesn't happen every time, but I don't feel like that's misleading at all, because they get some education at my class. It is a class, and nobody's getting hostess credits. Like Tether hosted a class for us, and I gave her a sweet little gift, but it wasn't based on how much people ordered. And that's cool. People don't like that. I mean, people like to get free stuff, but they don't really want to get it because their friends spent a bunch of money. They just want to be loved on, and they want people to have stuff that's going to help them. And that's really what essential oils are. I'm surprised how many people are willing to host a class when you present it that way. So that's how you're going to reach outside of your warm market. Because to be honest, one of the worst things you could do is literally take all your best friends and your closest family and say, do you want to buy essential oils? Like, that will be the fastest way for them to go, oh no, now we have another family member in direct sales. Don't answer the phone when they call. Like, you really just want to like go out into your business saying, I'm ready to educate the world about essential oils. Do you know about essential oils? Do you use essential oils? Are you open to a natural solution for the headaches that you've been having? I'm just wondering, are you curious to try something that would really help you get over those allergies faster? You're just like literally on a mission to educate the world. And I promise you, people will be coming out of the woodwork, calling you saying, I heard that you have an oil for allergies. It's pretty amazing. You can do it. I promise. I have like 4 friends. Seriously. Katie, Kristen. Who else do I hang out with on a regular basis? I mean, seriously.
Oh,
I'm an introvert. Now, all of you guys, for sure. But if I had to list like my closest friends, they would be like 5 people. And everybody else I know kind of well, but have you heard of Clifton's Strength Finders?
Mm-hmm.
You guys should look that up and take it. Clifton's Strength Finders. It'll tell you what you're really good at. And if you do that, send it to me, because I can really help you figure out what you will do best in this business so you can really focus on it. But I'm blanking on the name of it now, but one of the names of my strengths means that I have a very tight inner circle. Like, the people that I'm really connected with, they trust me and they tell me stuff. And like, I have people that tell me they're pregnant before they tell their husband. Like, it's a weird thing that I like. That's just one of my strengths. I create trust with people, but I have a very inner circle. There's only about 4 or 5 people that get into that circle. That's just who I am. That's just a strength that I have. So it's a strength, but it can also be kind of a weakness, because now it's like all these people out here, I just have this surface relationship with. And so I've really had to bust through that with doTERRA, because I walk into Target and the lady's like, how are you? And I'm like, fine. And then I catch myself thinking, but if she was like, do you sell essential oils? I'd be like, oh, yeah, I do. And all of a sudden I want to be in relationship with the Target employee because she wants to buy oils from me, but I have no time of day to even say hi to her when I think she just wants to be friendly. It's been really convicting to my spirit. And so I don't know if anybody relates to any of these stories about who I am, but anyway, it's really just caused me to say, I want to know her for who she is, and I want to love on her because I would never want to work at Target, and I want her to feel loved. And if that relationship works out really well and she feels connected to me and she wants to buy oils from me, awesome. And if she doesn't, then cool, I just made a new friend. I don't know, I've just really kind of adopted that, and it's been really powerful for my business. All right, should I let you go? It's late. Y'all have a class set up? That's the first step. Should I talk to you about what you should do first? On the back of this is a 100 names list. This isn't because you're going to go after these people and start like messaging them like crazy, but this is 100 people that at some point in the next few months, you would love to share a sample or invite these people to a class. It's just like a full name dump. You're just like high school, college, church, youth group, whatever. Business, work, family. It's just you're pulling out of all of these places. Who do you think could benefit from essential oils? And this is really helpful because then as you're inviting, you're like, oh, she told me that she can't come, but she's really interested in some sleep stuff. And then you write that down. And then the next class you have that's super focused on sleep, or the next time you see her, you bring her some serenity. And then you just can really work on people and loving them for what they need. So I would say this, I would challenge yourself. Can you get 100 names down? I was kind of surprised I got to about 60 without trying. And then I pulled up my Facebook and then I got the next 40 in like 5 minutes. So that's the first step. Can you write down 100 names of people that you want to share with? Because that will kind of bust through your belief that I don't know anybody. Now, this isn't people that you're like, I'm going to call tomorrow. This might even be what we call a little bit of a chicken list. Like, I would love for them to use oils, but I'm not going to call them. Oh my gosh. That's called a chicken list. I'm way too chicken to talk to them. But they still go on this list because at some point, they're going to find out, whether you want to tell them or not, that you're educating about essential oils, and you might be surprised. My mom has a really good line. She says, I don't want to assume, but have you ever, that you're not interested, have you ever considered essential oils? Is that what you say? Something like that?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, you don't want to assume. That's a limiting belief.
And sometimes they're like, well, I have actually heard someone talk about essential oils and maybe I would try. So anyway, 100 names list. And then in here, it's why do you want to build a doTERRA business? If you have a big enough why, like I have a pretty big why. I am so sick. My husband just walked through the door. It's 9:56. I am so sick and tired of that, you guys. Like 3 nights a week, he gets home at 10 o'clock at night. That's crazy. He went in at 11:30 today. Like that's retail. And then we're going to hit November and he's going to work 60 hours a week and he's going to make the same amount of money that he would work if he worked 25 hours a week. He's salaried. Like, I'm just like done with that. I want my life to be determined by what we want to do, not by what an employer tells him to do. Like think about it. He's 35, 33 years old. He's going to do that for another 30 years. So that's my why. I'm just like, I want to build a pipeline. I want to have income that lets us, like, if we want to go for a week down to wherever to see my grandma, like, we're going to do it. Not because like, oh, we got 2 days here and 1 day here. And this employer, we're building his dreams. Like, he's making a bunch of money owning Shields. Like, we're building his dream every day that Josiah shows up. I'm ready to start building my dream. So anyway, that's my why. It's pretty big, right? Kind of scary actually to say it out loud. But that's why I wrote it down. So now when I'm going out to share oils, I'm like, this is because it's a bigger dream. So when it's 10 o'clock at night and I'm online still raving about the business I should have been done talking about an hour ago, I'm doing it because I have this huge why. And now my why's really developed, and now I'm making the income that I've like dreamed about, and I know that it's possible for all you guys. So I'm like, I want my mom to have this income, and I want Amelia to have this income. I don't want her to make a decision about working based on how much money she's making. If she wants to be home with her baby, she should be. Like right now, you're making decisions based on income. That gets old, you know? Maybe you're not. I'm making it up, but I was working because I had to. Or maybe you could be at home, but then you're going to live paycheck to paycheck and you're going to wonder about whatever. And it's like, well, that's no really way to live either. And then when you have someone that shows up at your house that says, hey, I'm raising some money to go over and do some overseas missions in Africa. Would you be able to give it? I'm like, I don't have $3 to give you. That's just depressing. I don't want to live like that. I want to be like, yeah, I'm really inspired by that. Here's $300. They're like, what? I want to do that. And we already have started doing some of that. It's fun. So you write out your dreams, a little bit of your vision, your mission statement, and then establish a 30-day goal, a 90-day goal, and a 1-year goal. If you do that and send it to me, text me a pic. I'm going to send you a present. And I have good presents. Like it might involve some Melissa oil. All right. Is that enough? Have you heard enough? Shut this lady off.
That's very informative. Thank you.